Wow.
And that's a lot.
Yeah, no.
Showers.
So,
9 months out of the year, right? Like, and you're not, your snotty noses and Band-Aids and.
No matter. That's probably.
Yeah, but your day's over it, you're 30.
It's
Yeah,
true.
you know, so. No night shift, no, you know. But I
is
think
there a secretary here?
it's,
She don't know.
he's
Seen her pop in yet,
Yeah.
but he's on top of it.
she gets the thing. You know, honestly, I'm trying to get an arrangement now with the state to give me a waiver to use the AI device for my meetings. It's gonna require a whole bunch of tweeting and controls, but they're using it in all my medical appointments.
I tell you what, let's roll here. It is now
Something just happened on ESPN. I wanna know what it was.
waivers.
Okay. Nothing major.
All right, 7:00. I'm gonna call to order the meeting of the Enfield Zoning Board of Adjustment on today, which is October 14th. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We have one case this evening. In attendance, we have everybody except for Celia. I don't know if she's gonna be joining us or not. With all five members in place, we'll proceed with this first case with Tiffany Adams, myself, Dan Regan, Bill Finger, Susan Brown, Tim Linehan as the ones hearing the case. We'll have Jessica and Kyle as alternates, and they'll be with us up until a motion is made, and then we'll ask them to move away from the table while we have our final deliberations. Okay? So Rob, if you could please call the first case.
All right. First hearing tonight is land use case Z 25-10-01. Zachary and Olivia Bosque via Benjamin and Hazel Hollenbeck are seeking a variance relief from Enfield zoning ordinance, Article 4, Section 401.1, Paragraph S, to occupy a camper trailer or recreational vehicle for longer than 3 weeks in a calendar year. Subject parcel is 1.01 acre and is located at 994 New Hampshire Route 4A, tax map 39, lot 5 in the R1 residential zoning district, and is owned by Benjamin and Hazel Hollenbeck. I believe the applicants are here. You guys want to, you don't all have to come up, but we just want to,
Yeah, whoever would like to come on up. So first question, I pronounce your last name Bousquet?
Bousquet.
Bousquet, got it. I might mess it up a couple of times. I apologize. in advance. Yeah, I'm Regan, not Reagan, so I know the challenges. Welcome to the meeting. And I just want to give you a little bit of sense of what we're doing from a structural point of view.
Mhm.
We're going to review the variance that you've applied for on the parcel that you applied for it. And our judgment will be based on the town zoning ordinances and a set of criteria for variances. So they're very specific, and it sounds like you probably had a chance to review them. Our judgment is not a reflection on you as an applicant. It's a reflection on the case that has been made, the laws that exist, and we will be operating, looking at the piece of land and not the applicant. The reason being is that whatever happens in a variance application, that stays with the land. So let's say you or whoever was to sell the land and we made a decision on a piece of land, that stays with the land, it doesn't go with you. And one thing I want to ask you, are you Mr. Hollenbeck by any chance?
No, I'm Mr. Bousquet. I'm the neighbor, but I'm
Okay.
also Mr. Hollenbeck's son-in-law.
Okay.
They are not well enough to be able to be here tonight.
Okay, thank you for filling that in. I just want to confirm that Mr. Hollenbeck has transferred to you the power to have this discussion.
Yes.
And Rob, you're comfortable with that?
should be a letter in the file. Yes.
Okay, I just want to confirm that we're all good there. Okay, all right. The other thing that I want to say is that
There's a letter.
we do have that, okay. Right. I noticed there was a letter. I didn't know if it said specifically that you were entitled to actually bring the application forward. But thank
You
you.
want the call?
No, thank you. So we're a land use board, and that is very important. Some people, it can be a little bit difficult saying, what exactly is a land use board? But basically, we're empowered, and asked, to enforce the set of zoning rules that was adopted, by the people of Enfield. And there's some guiding principles, when a variance may be granted and when a special exception, is granted. We're what they call a quasi judicial board. And so what that means is that we're basically neutral in our opinion, and we come in with a neutral point of view and we listen to the evidence, that you present. And then we decide if in this case, you've met the criteria for variance or not. We typically deal with things like setbacks from property lines, additional structures, signage, things like that. It's pretty exciting around here. But we will review this case in all cases for its merits from a land use point of view. That's what we're looking at, from a land use. Issues such as health and human services, social services are not a focus. These are left to the town and for the state to address. We're just looking at the land. As in all cases, we're looking at things, and in a very non-biased way. We will be asking some questions to try to peel back the layers of the onion, as they say, and figure out exactly what it is that we're looking at. And that's the way we approach things. So I'd like to ask you to do is take a few minutes, as much time as you need, describe the situation, describe your request, and then present your argument. If you need to take a break at any point, if you need to reference any papers or anything, materials, here,
Something,
please.
hopefully that covers everything that you're looking for.
Okay, have at it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Olivia. I'm here with my husband Zachary. We're respectfully requesting a variance to allow our family to continue living in our camper on his family's property at 994 NH Route 4A for another year. We understand and respect the purpose of zoning ordinances and the role they play in protecting the community. We want to assure you that we've taken every measure to live safely, responsibly, and respectfully. Our camper is parked discreetly, the grounds are well maintained, and we follow proper sanitation practices using a portable RV waste container. We dispose of waste responsibly and are connected to water and electricity through Zachary's parents' home next door. During the winter months, we will primarily use their home to shower and wash dishes, ensuring we maintain hygiene and reduce strain on our camper systems. Our camper is equipped with a propane furnace, air conditioning, smoke detectors, a carbon monoxide detector, and a fire extinguisher, as well as emergency exits on 4 of the windows. It also comes with a winter weather package, and we've added insulation board around the base to act as skirting, which helps retain heat and protect plumbing. We've made safety a top priority. This past year has been incredibly difficult. Despite applying to many rentals and working hard to improve our situation, we've faced repeated setbacks due to income and credit challenges. Purchasing our camper was a last resort to avoid homelessness and to keep our family together. We're not asking for a permanent exemption, just time to save and stabilize so we can move into permanent housing by next fall. We have 2 children, ages 4 and 10, and keep them safe, warm, and in a stable environment is our top priority. Our son is autistic and relies heavily on routine and comfort from his emotional support dog, both of which would be jeopardized if we were displaced. Being forced to leave without a safe or stable alternative would likely mean ending up in a shelter or hotel, separating us from our support system and disrupting our children's lives. We know you may be concerned about neighborhood impact. To our knowledge, there have been no complaints. We've kept the area clean, quiet. We've made sure our presence doesn't disrupt the community. Zachary's family has been incredibly supportive, and their letter reflects that we're welcome on the property and that we've been respectful guests. We also respectfully request that the board consider waiving the associated fees. Literal enforcement of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship for our family, and any financial relief wouldn't make a meaningful difference as we work towards permanent housing. I want to be clear that we do not want to be living in a camper. This is not our ideal situation, but it is our reality. The most important thing to us is staying together as a family living in close quarters is difficult and uncomfortable. At least we are together and that means everything to us.
Slow down a bit.
Sorry, I'm very nervous.
So you're doing a great job.
Take your time.
Is there anything you need repeated, Susan?
No, but I'm having a little difficulty hearing, so I asked her. if she-
Yeah,
And I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Doing a nice
Yeah,
job.
she's, a bit upset and nervous. Go ahead.
Before I close, I want to sincerely thank Rob and Vinny for their kindness and support throughout this process. Their guidance has meant a great deal to us, and we've truly grateful. Thank you for your time, your compassion, and consideration for our request. We're grateful for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I know that you said, you're focused on the land, and I obviously wrote that before knowing that.
No, that's fine. It was all great.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, we're gonna have some questions for you. So what we usually do is we go around and we ask all of the board members to ask a question or two.
Okay.
And then if there are remaining questions, we'll ask some more questions.
Okay.
Rob, hang on a second. And then, we will also ask members of the public if they have questions.
Okay.
And they'll have an opportunity. Sometimes there'll be people online or sometimes in the room.
Okay.
Um,
I have a
And-
question.
Okay, hang on one second. Robin, has hand up first. And so that's what the next probably 15 minutes are gonna look like,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can talk at any point, just let me know, hey, I wanna answer that, I wanna address that. We're here, it's very important, but it's also, it's low key and whatever we do, I don't want you leaving saying, you know what? I wanted them to know that. If there's anything we need to know, you let us know. All right?
Yeah.
Mr. Taylor.
So I've got a couple things for you guys, just to familiarize you. This is the parcel in question. We're out in, if I zoom out just a little bit, you may get a little bit more
We
familiar.
drove by there yesterday.
Okay, this is Route 4A. This is Hackett Road, which has come up fairly frequently in the last few months at the select board level. So road that goes up and turns into a class 6 road.
Yeah.
If I zoom out, you can kind of see where Shaker Hill Road comes out right here. This is Crystal Lake Road going up, so it's not far from those intersections. And the one other thing I did do just when I thought of it, I pulled up a picture, drive-by picture, I wanted to show you guys taken from
Oh,
today.
thanks. Yep.
So this is that property. It's got a really fantastic garden. See your grandfather,
My father-in-law.
father-in-law.
Mm.
Always has one of the most beautiful
Got good
gardens.
soil, look at that grass.
And I'm right, that's
These
the
are
camp.
watering. Well, no, they live down here.
Just wanted to familiarize you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Proctor's would be another
Half mile.
Half
on that
mile.
right-hand side.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the house next door has a camper.
Yes, that's
my house.
That's them.
Right, thank you, Robin. Susan.
Is this a variance or a special exception? Because a variance will go with the land forever. And a special exception might be more appropriate than a variance since they want to limit the amount of time. And I don't understand the law, so Rob,
This is a variance.
It's a variance.
it's gotta be a variance.
Essentially, a variance is the town has these rules, but in this case, we're going to make an exception to the rules. We're gonna let you
I
not follow
understand
the
that
rules.
part,
That's what that is.
And a
but it
camper
goes
would
with the
also need
land
to be,
forever.
a
is-
camper would also be needed to be listed in the special exception list. Well, it's not.
And you guys are, I mean, we talked about this with a few other things. You guys can, it doesn't have to be forever. You can put a specific
Yeah,
timeframe on it.
we did do that.
You can apply conditions,
The gal who was the,
Nicole site.
she did the crossing guard duties there for a while she was building her place.
Yeah,
We I think I forget how long it was, but it was for a specified period of time, and that was a variance. So it can be done that way.
So let's, go around, and if folks have questions, please, go ahead and let's start over here with Tiffany.
Not at this time.
Bill?
So have you considered all the options before applying for this variance?
Like,
Well, I mean, I'm gonna suggest this, it's probably not practical, but have you considered moving the camper to other locations so that it's not in one spot for an extended period?
in May, we purchased a truck to be able to tow our camper. And September 5th, my husband was in a car accident totaling said vehicle. We don't have the means to continuously move it or opportunity or location. My family's not from this area. And Zach's family is sitting behind me.
Thank you.
Susan?
My question was answered. It's really not very intrusive. It's way up on the hill. But I'm concerned that a family with 2 adults and 2 children and what's really not a very big camper is appropriate or possible, not necessarily in the summer, but in the winter. When we get, if we get a lot of snow and ice and stuff like that, I'm concerned about the size of the camper.
Okay,
But
Good, let's-
other than that, I would just want to listen.
okay. Questions?
Yeah, a couple, first of all, I gotta go off on a red herring here. What kind of service dog is this we're talking about?
He has a boxer husky
Okay,
mix.
it's important for me to know.
Boxer Husky?
Yeah, it'll be 3 years on October 22nd.
Excellent, excellent. So we did get your supplemental letter about or actually, we got information from Vinny.
Mhm.
And so one of the things I guess I want to know is that my major concern here is the wastewater.
Yeah.
Because, and so I want to ask you a couple questions around that.
Absolutely.
It's particularly in the winter, I'm just gonna guess that you guys are probably gonna shower next door at the house.
Yes.
Right, I would imagine it's probably a lot more comfortable and roomy to take a shower in there than it is.
Yeah.
Matt, I wanted to get that on the record that we're not just using the camper, the houses of, you're there, you probably make dinner for these folks or sometimes, or spend time with them too, but sleeping in the camper, but the
Yeah.
wastewater piece, I think is being mitigated by using the home to some extent rather
Well,
than.
we have a portable, waste
Yeah,
tote.
yeah, an RV tank.
Yep, that we put it in. We've had JBC come out and suck it out
Okay,
and remove it that way. We are not pouring anything into the ground.
yep, well, that was my follow-up question,
Yeah.
was about you have an arrangement already with somebody who pumps it out if, you know.
Yeah.
But the winter is always it's tougher, so that's why I say using the way, I mean, you got kids too, you can't really control when they gotta.
Yep, this is not our first winter being in the camper. It is plenty warm enough. We have a brand new furnace. It has a winter weather package.
Okay. No, that's all good. And then I think what I heard was that, you're still diligently trying to find other housing and improve your financial situation enough, although the truck getting totaled was not a help.
It's been one thing after.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for that.
Thank you.
I think one of the things that I guess I want to ask is how, can you put any kind of realistic expectation on how long you think? I mean, a year or 6 months or?
We're asking for a year because, again, we've had so much. We didn't even plan on living in it for 3 months when we
Yeah.
ended up getting the camper, and then things just keep happening.
Okay.
Um,
And certainly I don't know when the campsites open up at different places, but you'd have to have a way to move it still anyway.
Yeah.
That's,
we're arranging with Zach's parents to start setting money aside that we just don't have access to, and that way if
Yeah.
an emergency happens, it's there, but otherwise,
And I would say, my only other concern is, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is an area that got whacked pretty bad when we had the flooding a few years back, isn't it? Isn't that right, where the water came down and,
on his side of the house.
was it further
It
down?
was further down by where, Jim Bergeron lives.
Yeah, okay.
It road and epic washed out across.
Yeah, the water's gonna come down that hill, so you would have a place to go if we got flooded, you could go next door, in a pinch.
Yeah, or, we would just go to a hotel, which is we did.
Okay, I don't have anything else. The groundwater issue was answered, and I do think that you folks have had quite a bit of hard times. We heard about that, so.
So can I follow on to, yeah, mine's kind of a follow on. So when, Mr. Tercey, wrote a letter on September 9th, he pointed out, and I'll quote, "We are further concerned that sewage and wastewater generated from this camper may not be disposed of in compliance with the applicable health, environmental, and zoning requirements.
Yep.
Improper sewage disposal poses a significant health risk, blah, 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 and strictly prohibited under local ordinances and state law." Was he misunderstanding something, or can you help me understand?
Why he put it in the letter?
Yeah, what was he seeing? What was?
That I don't know. I didn't. He just, I think part of it was an assumption because we are living in a camper that's not hooked up to a campsite disposal.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure why he thought that we were. We haven't been. I can assure you that nobody wants to smell that, let alone us being right on top of it. So I couldn't answer that question for you.
okay. And then in a letter that isn't dated, but I just got it today, so I assume Mr. Tercey wrote this today. He says, per the residents, the gray and black water tanks are emptied into a portable RV waste tank and disposed of in the main house, using the existing septic to the main house. JBC has also pumped the tank on multiple occasions, so I'm not sure if he's saying these were my concerns, but I've learned new things and therefore,
That's how I took it.
Cause that was before he spoke to me. We didn't have any contact until after I got that letter.
okay,
And then I called him
yeah,
and, he asked me the questions that you're asking me now. And I told him, this is what we're doing. This is what we've done. And he said, okay, that's fine. As long as you're not dumping it into the ground, then I don't have an issue. And then we went over to Rob for the zoning aspect of it.
And the way that I sort of interpreted Vinnie's first letter was almost as if because it says, it has come to my attention, and I didn't know if that was through a complaint of a neighbor, and it's not actually the primary discovery on his own behalf. Was the way that I interpreted that, and now
yeah.
this letter that is in front of us clearly documents that he no longer has concerns.
Rob, how did this come up?
I believe it was, Vinnie drives by that every day.
Oh,
And I
Yeah.
think it was finally, we periodically will meet and have conversations about any violations that we've observed. Frequently, it is a complaint. And it has come to our attention, is usually trying to protect a source. We don't want to pit neighbor against neighbor. And so that's usually the jargon that we use when we're trying not to. I've had that happen where people are like, well, your neighbor Joe has said you're doing this.
right,
And then all of a sudden it's a huge
Yeah.
neighborhood fight.
Yeah.
So we do try to be a little bit reasonable there, but I think in this case, it was fairly obvious as he was
Okay.
driving by on a.
Well, they
daily
weren't
basis.
trying to hide that they were living there either.
Yeah, it wasn't camouflage or anything like that.
So
No.
between the time Vinnie wrote this letter and writing this letter, did he go out to your site and do any inspection of any kind?
No, he did ask me to send him pictures of the safety protocols that he was concerned about as far as, the fire detector, carbon monoxide, and the escape routes if something were to happen.
So you should take pictures of those things and send them to him
Yes, I did. I did it this afternoon. Would you
Okay.
like to see the photos?
this afternoon.
Yes.
Okay. So prior to this afternoon, he hadn't been on the site or seen any pictures
No.
of anything?
He sent me to Rob. And,
Okay.
I've been working with Rob mostly.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
I do have a question. When did you move into that, camper?
Um, July of last year.
2024?
hmm
And it's just coming up now?
It wasn't originally at this location. We were at an aunt and uncle's, from July to November, and it's been on, Ben and Hazel's property since November of last year.
I should have asked, how long have you been in the camper there?
November of last year.
November,
November 7th, I believe is the exact date.
so it's nearly a year.
Mm.
And you need another year.
We're hoping not to take up that much time. Last year, we were hoping to be out by the spring, and then my dog got hit by a car and spent thousands of dollars at the vet. And then our furnace went down in the middle of February, which was another almost $2,000. And my son's father passed away. His biological father died in January of stage 4 brain cancer, and we helped with the funeral expenses for that. So when I say it's been one thing after another, I'm not exaggerating.
I believe you. Yeah, but you think that within this year, you'll be able to get into some kind of more permanent
We're
housing?
hoping, the market hasn't been great. For a 1-bedroom apartment, you're looking anywhere from $16 to $2,000 a month. I need 3,
Yeah, of course you do.
which is anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 in
A
this
month?
area. Yes,
Wow.
so trying to find a place is not, it's just, there's not a lot of places available. So we're hoping to come up with enough to put a down payment down on a house, because renting isn't working.
Here's a house in Canaan.
Jess or Kyle?
First, thank you so much for sharing so much with us already. Um, you shared what your plans would be if this were denied. If that were to happen, where does the camper go? Does it stay in that location? Does it
Yes.
move with you?
No, we don't have a place to move it. We would just leave it. Ben has said that we can keep it there until we find another alternative for it.
My questions were just about the duration of time that you were seeking. Initially in your application for the variance, it said the end of the calendar year, 2026. But today you're talking about a year. So I just want to be clear if we're talking about 1 year from today, which would be October of 2026, or the end of the calendar year, 2026.
I put the end of the calendar year just for an idea, but yeah, we're just hoping to be into a place by next fall. Ask for more. If you don't get it, then
Sure. As I'm not someone who's super used to campers and RV living,
yeah.
with the change in temperatures anticipated with the winter, is there any change in how you're gonna utilize black and gray water and have that disposed of? Do you have to increase the frequency of that for fear of freezing
No,
or anything like that?
We didn't have any issues with anything freezing last year.
Okay.
We usually empty it every other day to every 2 days, every 2 to 3 days. It's a fairly large tank. Usually in the wintertime, again, we go next door, use the bathroom, try to limit that use as much as possible. As far as water in the camper goes, we don't use the internal plumbings. We'll use, 5-gallon tanks with or the water jugs like you have out there for a water dispenser. And it's got a pump on it, so you just push a button and it works like a sink. And so we all wash dishes that way, or we bring our dishes next door, and we keep it clean, sanitary, and all of those things.
And I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say, if God forbid you had another bad year where these bad things kept happening and you weren't able to find stable housing, what is your plan after 1 year?
I don't have a plan at this moment in time,
Okay.
but I wouldn't be asking for more time if that's what you're worried about. We would have to find something different. One way or another, we'd have to.
Okay, thank you.
At any point from November of last year until now, well, at some point, I guess, at what point did you become aware that there was a zoning ordinance that only allowed people to live in?
September 9th, when that letter was dated.
That was the first time you heard that the town only allowed people to live in campers on
I mean-
parcels with a house for 3 weeks?
Yes, 3 weeks specifically, but I mean, as far as my common sense knowledge goes, I've known that a lot of campers are not meant to be lived in for all year round. They're not. They're recreational use.
Yeah.
As far as there being any laws or anything like that, no, I didn't know until I got that letter.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
How long have your folks lived in that house? It's a nice house with a lovely yard.
My in-laws moved in 99.
Us or Ben and Hazel? You're talking Ben and Hazel's house?
Yeah.
Yeah, they-
Her in-laws house.
Oh,
He's
I'm her
mine.
father-in-law.
Their grandparent-in-law.
Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. So Ben and Hazel, they built that house and moved into it in 1971, when my wife was 2.
Okay,
They've lived
and
there.
that's before zoning.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been there a day or two.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna state a couple of things just so you can understand what we're
Yeah.
looking at. You've now been in that spot for coming up on 52 weeks.
Mhm.
You're asking for another 52 weeks-ish, so about 104 weeks where we have a zoning ordinance that allows for 3 weeks. Again, this board is made up of compassionate people that would do anything for anybody. I know everybody on this board is that way. But we're in a tough spot because we have to now go back to say, okay, so if we look at it as a continuum, we're supposed to face land use issues. Financial issues should not be entering into our thinking. I get it, believe me, but it's not what we're
Can-
supposed to be focused on.
And
And
I,
in the middle, 1 second, please, and then I'll come back. In the middle, we have health and safety issues.
Mhm.
And that's kind of a gray area. And sometimes you can take some of those health and safety issues and say, yeah, those actually impact land use issues. Sometimes they don't. So just so if we seem hesitant, don't just say yes, absolutely automatically. We have a responsibility as
No, I
well as being
understand.
compassionate. So please.
whether us being in the camper or not, it still would be there regardless if we were in it.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
I said, regardless of us living in it or not, that camper would still be there.
Be stored there.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I understand that. And that is allowed. You
Yeah.
are allowed to store.
So
it.
as far as it affecting the land itself, we've made it very clear we're not damaging the ground.
And I'm not saying that you are, and I'm not saying you are. I'm just looking at the black and white of it.
Yeah.
And what the people of this town have voted on is, yeah, you can store a camper in a yard, but you can't live in it more than 3 weeks. And if there's not a house there, you can live in it for
6 months.
6 months. And now we've already,
No, I
we're
understand what you're
close
saying.
to a year and we're asking for another year, so. It's a tough situation and I can't even imagine the situation, how tough it is for you. All right, comments from the public, either online or in the audience, and please, anything you'd like to say, welcome here.
Yeah, and they've been up here in the wintertime, they do come over to our house to use the bathroom, to wash the dishes. If it's to where it's gonna be too cold, we invited them to come stay in the house with the kids, rather than being in the camper when it's 20 below. We've tried as much as we can to help them. Unfortunately, we just don't have the space in our house to have another entire family move in. And like I said earlier, Ben and Hazel were not able to be here, but they wanted the board to know that they are okay with the kids being there.
Thank you.
We did get a question in the chat. Can you see it?
It says, is the current septic at the house capable? I'm assuming it's going to say of handling, the occupants of the house as well as the occupants of the camper.
Yeah, I mean, if you click chat, you can see the whole.
Sounds like there's
The,
5 people.
well, Vinny addressed that in the
Yeah, it's X out of that.
letter we got where he says it's capable of 6 it's adequate for 6, it's a 3-bedroom system. So it's adequate for 6 people.
So
6 people,
I mean,
4 and 2.
I'm not saying that's proof positive, I'm saying that's what
yeah,
he said.
that's so when, do you have any idea when this septic system was installed?
For Ben and Hazel,
Oh,
they just had it redone. Within the last 10 years, it was redone. I don't know the exact date. I would have to go back and ask him.
Okay,
Well, there are now septic system, is it just around the
Just
list?
the lake.
all right, other questions online or comments? Anybody have their hand up? Okay, thank you for your comments. I'm gonna close the public comment period at this time. Any other comments or questions, from the board or you guys? No. Okay, at this time, let's,
Make a motion.
yeah, let's wanna make a motion.
I make a motion that we consider approval of the variance for case Z 25-10-01. Or put it up for discussion.
To make a motion without considering all those other things, make it definitive.
Okay. I definitively say, I make a motion that we vote for the variance for case Z 25-10-01.
Or approval without condition.
No, for approval with condition that it end within 1 calendar year. Or at the end of calendar year 2026.
Second, without a second,
2026, I think is what they asked for.
without a second, that motion
No seconds?
dies on the table.
The time frame that.
Okay.
Okay.
Somebody else like to make a motion?
Are alternates allowed to make a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the variance as applied for with a requirement that the camper be, I guess, vacated after 12 months,
I'm saying 12 months from today.
12 months from today. I'm not generally comfortable with granting things that have time limits on them for longer than that. It's not just this case. I just think it's.
I mean, it's only another 2 months.
Right. But do we have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. If I can ask our 2 alternates to please, remove themselves from the table. You are welcome to continue to participate as members of the public. But you are no longer around the table. All right, discussion.
I just like to say, I think that this is exactly why we have a ZBA, is so that cases where there's a definite need, we can push aside the laws of the zoning or gently and meet people's needs without sticking strictly to the letter of the law. and causing a lot of pain and difficulty.
Are we at all setting precedent for future situations, possibly en masse?
There is that risk. But I mean, we'll take each case as it comes.
Yeah, they're still required to come and apply.
You can't,
And how do we then?
you can't take that into account when it's judicial. Which we are,
Can't take one into account?
that somebody else might come. Well, I don't, you
You
gotta
kinda
only
can't.
deal with the situation you got.
Knowing
I
that in
think-
the future,
I disagree. I think we do set precedent at times. We rely on it. I think, for example, not necessarily case by case, but when we talked earlier about has this happened? I think, Rob, I think I'm the only member of the board that was here when we did that other one, who was a camper that we gave up an extended, and I think it was a year that we gave her, in my memory serves me right. So to that extent, it's not like case to case, but I go, hey, this isn't an issue of first impression for the board. We have done this before. I mean, I think we've had other things where we've gone, never seen one of these before. This is different. Where I'm at with it is unlike a lot of these cases, I get to hardship and I can't find it. In this one, I find the hardship and now I'm having a hard time getting through some of the other criteria. Because I think there are reasons to, where we have an identified student with a disability who would have to change schools. They just lost the vehicle that gives them the method of moving this camp. I mean, there's a number of those factors that I go, it's a perfect storm. And I can see that there isn't an alternative. If the alternative is not being in Enfield and being in a hotel, I think, and that's not an alternative. There's not a different way for them to use this land to occupy there, right? And particularly, I think, given all we've done for opening the gates for accessory dwelling units in any way we can, right? I go, it's an accessory dwelling unit with weird wheels, right? To some extent. But I don't know. The issue of the groundwater is a piece, right? That's definitely that's the purpose of you needing a variance for this. The underlying public interest is that, right? Is this, okay, what about the groundwater, right? That's what.
It's not just the groundwater though.
No, but I think that's a big one, is the big one. The issue of, do we let 4 people live in a camper is not an issue for me. It simply isn't. Like, people live in houses smaller than that.
Yeah.
That part doesn't bother me. I think where we're at is the ordinance was drafted in a way to preclude this. And then to go from 3 weeks to 104 weeks is a quantum leap. And that's where I get hung up, is where are we on this? Because I don't see diminution in property value. I see that there's substantial justice. I can see that. But when I get into the public interest piece and the piece about spirit of the ordinance, could use some input from people.
So I appreciate all the points that were made. And I certainly appreciate where you are at. And I struggle with it for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I think the idea that this could set precedent is very important. I also think it's not about my personal opinion, whether 3 people can be living in a camper or not. It's about what the people of Enfield said when they voted on these rules. Now, they have a ZBA in place, so yes, we can make exceptions. Absolutely. But I think if you had multiple people in the area, doing the same thing, then no, I don't think it is in the public interest. I think the idea that you could have septic issues, the idea that you have a camper at every house with people living in it, you could argue is not in the public interest. It could impact the value of properties.
Is that a realistic thing though, that you think that'll happen?
Some degree.
Question.
Yeah, so if we look at. Yes, I think there could be an expansion of this type of thing. And I think if we now say, so we allow 2 years instead of 3 weeks, that's gonna change things.
I mean, we're not allowing 2 years. They already lived there for a year and no one complained for an entire calendar year they were dwelling there. No one even, either they didn't
Well, that's
know
not
or they
the-
didn't care.
That's not the criteria. Criteria is not whether somebody complains or not.
I'm just saying, if we're talking about public impact, there
Yeah.
was none.
Nobody complained.
Right.
There might have been public input. There might have been public impact
Where are they?
where the people,
The people that were impacted, wouldn't they come here to say, nay?
not necessarily. I think it's similar to the same thing Rob said earlier, is that we don't ask the person that's making the complaint to show up because of the issues that could cause. So let me just finish, there's no comes here. The other issue I have is I don't think it's right that our health inspector said one day, I have an issue, and then asked for some pictures the day of the meeting, and then puts together a letter that says, I'm fine. To me, that's not acceptable. I think we need somebody, excuse me, I'm not finished. I think we need somebody to go to the site and say, yes, there's no longer an issue with the septic. I misunderstood. I am comfortable with the fire codes not being violated. And make sure that the people living in this camper and the children living in this camper are safe. To do that by pictures, I'm not comfortable with that at all. Yes.
What if we put a condition on the variance that they hook up directly to the septic system that's there? Could we do, is that?
I'm not a licensed septic evaluator or installer, and I don't know if that's feasible, or I can't be putting conditions in place.
I don't know either. That's why I'm asking.
I share your concern, Stan, about the letter and the reason. I mean, part of my concern that I think I alluded to earlier was septic installed for the main house is designed for 3-bedroom, which is adequate for the 6 occupants. I don't, Vinny's a nice guy, but is he qualified to make that statement? Like,
I mean,
and that's, I just kinda, I think that we have pretty specific criteria for septic design at the state. I was actually trying to find the state law on this stuff because our ordinance says it has to comply with state law. Because again, I'm not a septic guy, and to me, that is the nutshell, that is the big hill for the public welfare to me, is the groundwater. I know there's other stuff,
Yeah,
but that one is.
And so I know, well, I don't know, but Vinny tells us that you don't issue certificate of occupancies for campers. Okay. A certificate of occupancy, it's a checklist of things that need to be covered off on. And while we don't have a CO for a camper, we should still go through that same checklist. And that checklist includes somebody physically going and looking at things and saying, it's safer, it's not.
And by the way, I have every reason to believe that the applicants would welcome the home visit.
And I'm 99% sure everything is fine,
Yeah.
but God forbid if something were to happen and
we never went.
we never went, I couldn't.
I do have another question, which back to the zoning ordinance, and intent of the ordinance. What do we suppose the intent of the 3-week rule is? What are we trying to accomplish or prevent from happening? what is the intent of our ordinance?
Of this specific provision,
Yes.
so I would say. I think you heard me say that the groundwater piece is big. It is spelled out saying you have to comply with state law on that, because that would have an impact on the environs. It would have an impact on surrounding properties. And it would have an impact on the people living there too, if it wasn't dealt with, right? You know, you could get, so we have a health reason to be concerned about this, but also the property, but it touches a lot of the other things. I think the other reason we are this concerned about it just in general is we have a building code to build buildings by. And it's designed, at least in part, I'm not a builder, based on, okay, we live in a cold climate, therefore your studs must be this, therefore you must have egress of this, with all the different rules and regulations. Campers aren't that, because they're never designed for that. They're designed for
But that.
short-term temporary use, right?
Zoning ordinance doesn't get into building code, that's separately,
Yeah, but I think that's why
Is it to regulate density? Is it to regulate, what are we regulating with this 3-week limitation? So I guess in my mind, it's that we are regulating probably density. And yes, the use is nearly identical to that of an ADU or some other living structure. However, that living structure is then regulated by setbacks and, a whole host of other zoning ordinances that ensure it's appropriate, it's appropriately placed, et cetera, et cetera. So it's difficult, I think, to regulate recreational use and then be applying living standards. It's, as I think we all are feeling, very messy. And we're regulating it in different ways that don't make sense.
I think what you said is good, and you would add safety to one of the reasons we have these things. And that's why we've got the new septic laws around the lakes and some of the other things. And that's why I was thinking that one of their situations might be ameliorated by hooking the camper directly into the septic system that exists. And that might take care of the groundwater problem that Tim's mentioned, because this business of tanks and pumping tanks and dumping them in the house is the part that worried me a bit. I think that one of the reasons we regulate campers and put them in campgrounds is safety of the people in the campers. And I think they've done everything they can according to this letter. I'm wondering if, since we have all these concerns, if it wouldn't be wise for all of us, since Vinnie's letter is today, the health officer's letter is today, if we didn't postpone our vote for a month and send people out to make sure that it really is going to be safe, especially the sewage thing, and come back next month and have a vote. I'm not, oh goody, we can do this. I'm not, oh, we can't do this at all. I'm sitting there thinking that this is really should have been here before today. We should have had it. He should have been there.
So
Maybe he needs to come to the meeting, because this is really critical.
I do have one other question. What is the distance between the camper and the home approximately?
Too long for a tube to hook up to the septic. So we used a portable.
Are we thinking it's 20 feet, 50 feet, like what? do you
Um,
think?
From the camper to the main. part.
That shed
the
is
garage.
between the camper and the house.
It's easily 40 feet.
Yeah, that's, and how far to your property? You're on this side or the other?
I'm on, looking at the
They're
picture. I'm to the left of it.
So I'm just trying to think about whether we're just to address setback. That's all I was going with.
Yeah,
Well, where we wasn't necessarily set
and
back.
I,
No, I don't think, I was there yesterday. I don't think setbacks are a problem.
Good enough?
Go ahead, please.
if you're looking at the picture where the camper currently is.
Yeah.
The property line, my property line is about a foot to the left of it. I don't have a problem with the camper being that close to my property line. Our property line actually goes right up through the middle of that garden, because that's my father-in-law's property.
Yeah.
So
It's right
When
about
he-
halfway in the garden.
when he deeded us the land, it was agreed that he kept about 50 feet of our property for his use to do what he wanted until he sells or passes. But our legal property line goes up just to the left of that camper.
You just said your property line is 1 foot from the camper on the left?
About that, I'd have to go up and measure it to be sure.
It would cut right through the middle of that garden.
Yeah, it
If we
does.
had a first down line.
It's, yeah,
It what?
it's not a permanent structure.
What we're being asked to consider as such.
Well, it's family on both sides of the line though, isn't it? Is what I'm hearing.
I mean,
It's family on both sides of the line.
isn't this ordinance to discourage like campgrounds from forming?
I think it's density is a big part of it, and I think,
But we're trying to encourage density at this point.
well, no, we're not. So
I mean,
we
that's
have
why
thought about density,
They
but
can't
this,
afford rental because
so now
there's
we're
not
going,
enough housing.
we're going to a much larger issue that is currently being debated and should be debated. But we can only go by what is in here, and what is in here is by zone, what you can and can't do. And when we voted, the people voted that in R1, you can only have a camper for 3 weeks. And now we can talk about the housing crisis and everything else and what the future might look like, but we can't, as a board, make decisions based on what the future might look like. Yes.
I just was struck by a thought when Tiffany was talking about the intended use of, or the intent of the 3-week limitation.
Yeah.
And it really struck me as to what the time frame is of when the accessory use clause kind of happened in Enfield and how many people are taking advantage of that versus how old the 3-week limit is for the campers and RVs. And is the 3-week limit, because it sounded like for some people that was a sticking point, was 3 weeks versus 104 weeks. But is the 3 weeks outdated in light of the fact that Enfield now allows accessory use dwellings?
My response would be, and other people might have a different opinion, you might be very well right, but until the people of the town vote on it. We went through this issue with another very large case where the very first meeting, we talked about what the rules might look like in the future, and we should take that into consideration. And then we heard very quickly, no, you don't do that as a zoning board.
Nope.
You can only, you'd have to give me a new book in order to start thinking about what things might be like in the future. Kyle?
So if safety of the camper.
Yeah.
And the camper's allowed to be there if it was unoccupied.
Yeah.
What is the difference between having an occupied camper present on the property versus an unoccupied camper on the property?
The law.
Yeah, people living in it is the regulation.
Yeah.
The regulation, if you can't live in it.
Yeah.
For more than 3 weeks out of the year, but you can have it parked there
Unless,
indefinitely.
unless we write a variance, in which case that's the law.
We can get to a vote in a minute. I'll just give it one more thought. I like Susan's idea of asking that a proper inspection be done. And I will still have trouble with the time period, allowing another year. I would welcome a discussion on a shorter period of time for a variance. And I might be in the minority in that case. It really won't matter.
If you did that, would they be able to come back at the expiration of the first variance to ask it to be extended?
They can do whatever they want, sure.
Yeah.
They come back, let's say we did the extension until May 1st. They could come back April 15th and say, my variance is about to expire and I'd like to apply for another one. And we could just keep going for the next 5 years, giving them variance,
Well, I don't know that that's,
right?
no, I
Is it
don't,
really?
know. It would require a change of facts.
We require what?
That we would have to have substantially different facts. We will have already ruled on it.
Would
So
it
if you submitted an application with exactly the same facts in it, I don't know, it's not ripe. We've already dealt with it once. And that, it's res judicata to me. I mean, if something changed, like, hey, I'm just gonna throw this out here, hey, we had another, situation and our other car blew up or something, I think that would be a different fact, right? Like that we could consider, or, hey, it's a different camper, it's a bigger camper or whatever it is, that would be different. It would be distinctly different. But if you've already ruled on one application, that ruling carries the weight.
There's a legal term there, substantially different. It
Yeah.
has to be substantially different.
Thank you for that. Yes.
I don't know if it makes any difference, but we have had 2 visits from DCYF and they give us the clear on the camper.
That would be information that would be useful to have, and we don't have that right now other than your word, and I'm sure your word is right, but having that in writing would be an important fact as well. And anything else that you could think of that would be in your favor, having it. But that's just my position. I am with Susan that I would ask that the town do further diligence on this case and that we delay the decision until next week, but we still have a motion on the table that we can vote on.
Next week or month.
We could take the motion off the table.
I can withdraw the motion if that's more, I will say, Mike, I don't like to continue. I feel like people want a decision when they want a decision, and that's just, but I also hear real clearly that the majority of the board would like to have had this looked at by the building and health inspector. Or maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's not the majority. of the board.
Before today.
Yeah,
You could make it a condition of your, with the motion that's on the floor right now, you could add a condition that there's regular inspections.
he said that in his letter, but I don't.
Yeah.
I've never done that before. I know we could. I don't think we've ever done that in my years. I also get the message of it is our preference that you go look at this, because if we have other folks, we would like you to go look next time. And it is kind of that. It's the board saying very clearly, when this stuff happens, we want you to go take a look.
Mhm.
And I think if it helps anybody make a clearer decision, it's a tough decision no matter what, but if it helps you make a clearer one that someone's physically looked at it, I'm with you guys, and no problem withdrawing my motion if that helps.
How do you feel? Are we being fair? Is it a reasonable request of a board like this to,
Any of you are welcome to come look if that's what you want to do.
no, I don't want to look at your, I'm not qualified to. I want somebody.
I wouldn't mind seeing the dog for the record.
I'll show you a picture later.
But is it reasonable that we're asking that somebody qualified actually put hands on?
No, yeah, I completely understand that. That's not an unreasonable request.
The building inspector's letter just restates the facts. He doesn't say it's okay. And he finishes with, I am and will remain in constant contact with the residents of the camper. This is not a letter of approval. At
Right.
least the way I interpret it, he just says, well, I went and looked,
So
and he doesn't,
It says it meets minimum housing standards first.
well,
I would like
okay,
him to go
well,
down the
no, but
checklist
it doesn't, he
in our-
doesn't say
like-
that.
He does. He says the house
or I would suggest
meets
that.
minimum housing standards.
You cannot know that without going there. It
No,
probably
he
does.
doesn't say that.
You wanted to add something else?
I wanted a statement, I'm not sure why Vinny waited till late to either ask to come look at the camper or for the photos that he asked for. I can't answer that. But he did say that if I didn't send him the photos today, he would need to come inspect it. But I just assumed he just wanted those to move things along quickly, so that's why I sent him the photos, but he did offer to come look today.
Thank you.
But I was working and photos were easier.
Yeah.
It's,
I'd like to withdraw my motion. I really feel like in order to make a fair decision, I feel like these folks should have it looked at and they're willing to do it. We could interpret his letter anyway, but Vinny's not here for us to ask us. And if we say, please go down the checklist that you go down for a COA and give us that, I feel like we've given every opportunity for these folks to show, look, this is what we have. This is how we're gonna live. This is safe.
well, and two, maybe if you could connect to the septic system, it could become an ADU.
No,
They can't,
no, it's not,
it can't. I thought that
in Canaan
ADUs
it is, but.
that ADUs could be separate from
They
the
can,
house.
yeah, but they can't be, they would, it would, an
Not
ADU,
built
would-
to building code.
yeah, it's ADU would still require a building permit and it would have to be up to building code and an RV is not gonna meet building code.
Oh, okay. That's
matter
what,
what.
thank you.
Yeah.
Bill, what do you think of this path? You would prefer we didn't and just approve right now?
I'm fine with it because it gives them another 4 weeks to to live in the camper, right?
Yeah, but that all is another 4 weeks is all dependent on where we net out for, if we do net out, that they could have an approval with a conditional date.
Are you suggesting we do that now and pen with a
No, not.
condition of inspection? No. So we'll discuss this again after the visual or hands-on inspection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a reasonable request? I feel like you're.
I think that seems reasonable. I mean, I'm sure you don't mind coming back. In a month.
Who do they, should we specify what kind and who for the inspections? So
Yeah.
she knows what we're thinking
Yeah, health, fire and safety.
I think,
and safe.
And Vinny covers all of that.
do you need an order for that, Rob, or can you just let Vinny know, or the chair can let Vinny know this is
Let
what
him
we
know.
want?
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
I think I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you said, look, we go through this checklist. And I feel like if that's done in person, you know, it's a little bit more than anyone trying to interpret what Vinny wrote in a letter on hours before the hearing.
That's the problem, isn't it?
And it doesn't prejudice them in any way.
Can I also ask, and I'm not sure if we have the authority to do this or not, but I think our weighing in on this will carry some weight. I'd like to waive the fees for this applicant. Is that something we can
We
do?
can, I don't know if we should do that today. I think we can do that with, or is it logistically easier to do it today?
I think you're gonna say yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
If we're gonna be moving to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Would that now put 2 fees on the table?
No,
Absolutely not. No, we're looking to
No.
waive all the fees. No.
I share your sentiment. I'm just thinking about where.
Yeah.
It's well within your power to do it.
Let's do it.
Has the applicant already paid the fees?
No.
All right, then let's just waive them right now, unless somebody objects.
I make a motion to waive the fee
all but
Yeah.
the notification fees, which was a cost to the town or,
Just wait.
okay.
I'll make a motion that we waive the fees.
Second,
Oh.
Aye.
Good.
Thank you.
All right,
Would you like the building inspector at the meeting next month?
I would love the building inspector at the meeting.
That would be great.
I'll make sure he's here.
Thanks, Rob. Sorry.
You want to say one thing about logistics? Next month's regular meeting or regular scheduled meeting falls on a federal holiday. So are you guys okay with pushing it to, or having it a day early on the 10th?
I can do either.
Because it would regularly happen on the 11th based on the the way that we
Yeah.
yeah,
align.
no, we can't have
And
it
that's
on Veterans
Veteran
Day.
Day.
Whatever you decide is fine with me.
Monday, the 10th.
I will
What I
not,
like.
I will not be here on Monday, the 10th, so Bill's gonna have to step up his chair.
What,
Are you sure that you're okay with that?
what about the 12th, Rob?
12th.
Are you here?
12th is planning. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There is no planning board on the 12th. They've actually bumped theirs up to the 5th and the 19th. So the
I
12th
would
is
like to
available.
do this.
Are
on
you
the day
available on
when
the
You're
12th?
available, Dan. I would. Nothing
I,
against you. I just feel like.
no, I'm not available on the 12th either. And I'm 100% comfortable with this board going forward without me.
Okay.
So the 10th it is.
10th
Okay with
is
that?
fine.
All right.
You okay with the 10th?
Yes.
I'll be here.
I'll give you the gavel. All right, thank you very much, for coming in, for articulating things very, very well, for listening to our banter more than anything. We don't always agree. We're always respectful to each other and, I think we get to good spots. But thank
I have
you.
a copy of what she said.
You can have it all.
Yeah, we'll give it to Ralph.
Yeah, Rob.
Get the file.
And you did great, by the way.
Thank you.
Really good. Guys, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we'll reconvene on the 10th for this hearing.
Yes.
Date certain.
Continuance of this hearing on the 10th.
Okay.
All
There
right.
you go. Thank you. Nice to see you guys. Thank you.
All right, anybody need a break, or we just got a couple of quick things to be done in about 10-15 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Good.
I have copies of the document that Stephanie sent. Does anybody need copies of that?
Good stuff.
I want a copy of what she wrote, because I didn't hear it very
Okay,
well.
I'm gonna scan it, send it out.
All right, so next thing we have to do, is, let's do the minutes. The minutes from August 12th. Has everybody had the opportunity to read them?
Anybody need copies? of
And
that
does
too?
anybody have any comments on those minutes?
Yes,
Susan, go ahead.
line 164. Where she says criterium. But that's a horse race.
Right.
It's a
yeah.
singular
It needs
of
to
the
be criterion, O-N is singular, or criteria, A is plural.
Yeah.
But criterium is a horse race.
Ah.
I looked it up.
Nice, learn something new every day.
Okay, and on line 180. The restaurant is in operation for the public and never before 11 a.m. or 8 p.m. Animals may not be boarded every night, and measures must be taken to protect the book. I think that's the brook. And those were the two things that I found, but I thought they were enough that it's got to be corrected, especially the criterion. It's there a couple of places, but if she just,
Okay,
takes it and says
thank you, Susan.
substitute, that will be fine.
Do we have a motion to, accept the minutes?
Well, did anybody else have anything?
I think so. A motion to accept the minutes.
Oh, wait a minute, yeah, there's one more. Wait a minute. 186. Mr. Lenahan stated that the criteria states, it's gotta be criteria state or criterion states, one way or the other.
Can't remember what I said.
I had that one too.
The criteria state, I think it says, the special exception shall be permitted only when consistent. So I think it is criterion, ION, states.
Let's go with that.
Is she listening
Sounds
to
good.
us?
Yeah,
She's not on.
She will be
She
listening.
gets the recording and does it.
Yeah.
Okay, so at line 186, Mr. Lenahan stated that the criterion states,
Excellent.
if that's what you want, or if it's criteria, then you've got to take the S off states. Which is it, Tim?
I seriously don't remember, but I'm gonna say criteria is what I would normally say.
State
Yeah.
that a special exception shall be permitted only when consistent with the spirit of the ordinance to do so.
I second the motion to accept the, minutes as edited.
All in favor, say aye.
Got it all.
Aye. Okay.
No, there's another one. Line 249. Take out the. Line 249, it says at up to 5. Either you gotta put another dash in or take that dash out.
Well, let's take that dash
Be
out.
allowed at up
Yeah, I
to
don't-
5, take that dash out.
Take that dash out and move on. Can I get a motion?
I repeat my motion.
Can I get a second?
Good
My
now?
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Come on now.
Aye. Right, let's move on to the rules of procedure.
Hang on, I just have one
Don't you
new,
dare.
one quick new business thing I
Alright.
wanted to mention, because I am concerned and I would like the board to know. I'm concerned about the number of signs that are going up that are temporary in nature, but seem to just stay up. And in particular, the coffee shop sign is dead in the middle of the crosswalk and the walkway right on the corner of High Street on a
Yes.
regular
it
basis.
should be
And the
there.
ordinance doesn't allow that. You can't put it in a way that it would create a traffic hazard or whatever. And I also think how many of I mean, I get it when you grand opening, you first open, right? But to have these temporary signs, and the reason I say this is we put the museum through the rigmarole to replace all their signs. And we were really clear with Mr. Drummond on how his has to come out every single day in the morning and go back every single night. It can't be left out, those sandwich board signs. So I'm just seeing more signs around and it just, that was it. That was just a comment that I'm seeing a lot more signs around and we have rules about them. It, not just like, hey, you can't have giant signs, but there's rules about you can't have temporary signs that really aren't temporary.
Mhm.
So that was it.
Okay. You see Pastor Tom on a regular basis?
I'll tell.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
He's got good coffee. I want to be clear.
Let the record show.
He does have good coffee.
So he takes the sign down every night and puts it
I don't know.
down?
I don't go up to that
Well, it
corner.
shouldn't be in the middle of the sidewalk.
It is,
The kindergarten walks down there. They were there this morning.
it's also that nightmare of an intersection right there at Jake's.
Right.
It's,
Good point.
I have one.
Rob's on it.
That we said that guy couldn't have a food thing by the Optimistic Brewery, and every Sunday he does.
good.
We said that he wanted to put a thing there for snacks for people on the rail trail. And now he has a food truck there every Sunday, set up in about a third of the parking lot.
A food truck?
Yeah,
So it's not a permanent
it's
structure?
not it's not permanent.
And we allow
That's true.
food trucks in town, right?
Yeah.
We have actually a rule about
You
it.
know what the name of the food, because we do have there is a permitted food truck in town.
And then there's
No, it's
I think
from
it
someplace
changes.
else. I don't know who it is.
It changes.
and
They
56
have a variety of different.
selling food over there too, haven't they? I thought it was.
Not the times I've been there, and I've
So,
been there several times.
Rob, we allow, Rob,
Yeah, we allow food trucks.
we do allow food trucks in town, correct?
Yeah.
As long as they're meeting certain criteria?
Yeah, we do have, it's a food truck or vendor permit.
Yeah, and is somebody checking from time to time, just want to optimistic to make sure they're meeting that criteria?
I will, yeah, I'll make sure, yeah, I'll talk to
I'm
Dan
sure
all the
that-
time.
Thank you.
Tell them, we gotta
Thank
have.
you. Thanks for bringing it up.
Thank you. I think a little bit of that, that's why I wanted to bring it up in the meeting, like when we see something like that
Sure.
and everybody's here, we say something because it's just on our minds,
Absolutely.
you know? So,
Yep. As are our
let's
rules of
get to the
procedure.
rules of procedure.
Yes. So. I didn't hear from anyone
You didn't,
about.
Well, that's because it's such an excellent document.
I heard from only one person about final edits, so. Without any additional edits to make, I assume we all think this is final draft.
I did.
Sign it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We didn't sign it yet, no,
I had a question.
about,
Well, one is at the bottom of the page, it's labeled page 3 of 2. About the number.
what was it?
I have-
Why is it of 2? But where it says order of business, we voted a while ago to put the minutes of the previous meeting after the public hearings and to do the public hearings first.
But when we talked about this, we decided to leave it as is in that we can
There's
elect at a meeting to take.
Yeah.
An agenda out of order if we would like.
Because if we didn't have a hearing, we would do the meeting. And we don't know whether we would do the minutes.
And we do the minutes before, but that doesn't make sense,
If we
Jim.
didn't have a hearing, we usually don't meet,
Yeah.
like September.
So I do,
But I think that since that we do.
Yeah.
We voted to put the minutes after the hearings, that belongs in the rules.
so I do remember having a discussion about this. It was probably the second or third time we talked about the rules of procedure. Tonight is about the fifth time that we've talked about it, and we were at the point where we're only making grammatical changes, which nobody had any. So I think that ship has sailed, and it's time to approve this.
I have a couple of things.
Susan, you've been asked repeatedly for input and you haven't had any, and now it's kind of.
I gave it to her.
But we discussed that this
Yeah.
footnote here that says note addresses that there was no need to change this because we can take it in any order we wish.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the rules of procedure as crafted. The only question I have is, do the alternates vote on this? No, I just, I kinda want them
We're happy to
to.
be here.
I almost wanted to, I'm conflicted out.
You're a nice man, you're a nice man. I second the motion to approve.
Typo. There's one typo on the front page. See the red spot?
So
No, not yet. Oh,
It's just an S.
I
Take
think
out
we
the
should
S.
have her tied and quartered.
You gotta take the S out.
what is
Take
it?
the S out of alternates.
It's a typo. It's nothing but a typo.
Is this is, she has an old copy.
Okay, good.
I think that's an, isn't it?
You
Yeah.
take out alternates or
Yes.
either take the S off alternates or take
She-
out members.
Alternate members, you have an old version.
Yeah, Susan, this is a very old copy. You already made that point.
The one that Rob's.
Problem with printed materials.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table to approve. I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, I would like to make a motion to end the meeting.
Seconded.
So be it. We're done. Thank you.
Page 23.
Thank you for that, you guys.